Labour activists are accusing sportswear manufacturer Nike of encouraging low wages and inhumane conditions at its factories in Indonesia. To make the point, former American soccer pro Jim Keady has spent a month living in a Jakarta slum trying to survive on funds he says are equivalent to the average local Nike workers' wages. Jim Keady joins me in our Sydney studio. Jim, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
How much a day were you living on?
It was roughly 10,800 rupiah, which would be about $2 Australian.
And how long were you doing that?
For 1 month.
And how did you go?
I lost about 25 pounds and was hungry, tired, to the point of exhaustion nearly every day.
And whereabouts were you living, Jim?
In Tangerang, which is an industrial suburb outside of Jakarta.
And were you living in someone's home, or where did you actually sleep at night?
Yeah, we were living at an NGO open house, it's called. It's a place where workers would come to have union meetings. We were immersed right in the middle of a neighborhood where many factory workers would live.
And Jim, the whole point of the exercise was what?
We were trying to answer the question, are these great jobs for those people, as many people would ask, and can you live on Nike's basic wages in their factories?
And did you find you could?
No. You can survive to the point of losing 25 pounds and being physically exhausted every day and not being able to meet your basic needs and having your human dignity undermined, I think, in trying to live in that way.
Well, how are those workers that you refer to getting by? Are they just surviving?
Yes. Every day is a struggle. We met with workers who some days have no money to buy food because they have to pay for other expenses.
How many people are you talking about?
I believe Nike outsources to factories that employ almost 500,000 people globally.
And what sort of hours are they working and under what conditions?
The basic day is 7 hours of work with 1 hour for lunch, but working that amount of time could in no way procure you the amount of money you would need to just try and scrape by, so they're forced to work overtime hours. They're mandatory overtime hours of 2 hours a day, and sometimes they work up to 6 hours of overtime. They'll work on Saturdays and Sundays as well during high quota periods.
Now, this sort of action is putting pressure on Nike. How are they responding?
Well, Nike I think they're trying to wash their hands of it in a sense and say, well, we've been making improvements. And what I would say to any official from Nike, if you feel that your company has truly made strides, I invite you to come to Tangerang, Indonesia with me. I would be more than willing to go back for another month and to live on the wages of the factory workers and have a Nike executive live with me on those wages. And then we'll see at the end of the month if their tune doesn't change about how Nike treats their workers in Indonesia.
Why have you jumped on this case?
I was a coach at St. John's University, which is the biggest Catholic university in the U.S. I was a soccer coach there, and I was also working on a master's degree in theology while I was at St. John's. And in one of my classes, in my social ethics class, I was writing a paper on Nike's labor practices in light of what's called Catholic social teaching. And I found that if you wanted to pick a company that violates the entire ethos of this body of teaching, Nike would be the perfect case study. Simultaneously, St. John's University was negotiating a multi-million-dollar contract with Nike that would require that all athletes and coaches wear the equipment. I said that I would not wear this equipment. I would not be a walking billboard for a company that chooses to maximize profit over human dignity. And I publicly challenged the university's relationship with this company. Because of this, I was given an ultimatum by university officials that I had to wear this equipment and drop this issue publicly, or I needed to resign. So I was forced to resign from my position.
Well, what's your campaign with interest? Jim, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.